Toriola's body trembled as she lay on the cold hard ground. The sharp pain in her stomach felt like a knife twisting inside her. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Jumoke's throat frozen, her hands pressed against her mouth. Mona Lisa and Lovett exchanged a panicked glance. "This is bad," Mona Lisa murmured, her voice shaking. "We need to get back inside before we are caught." "We can't just leave her here," Juliet snapped, but her hands trembled as she tried to shake Toriola's body. The sound of footsteps in the distance made them all stiffed. A security guard's flashlight shone through the darkness, slipping across the fence. "Run!" Lovett hissed. Without hesitation, the three girls disappeared into the night, leaving Toriola behind. Toriola's fingers crawled at the dirt, her lips moving silently as if calling out for help. Darkness swallowed her whole. Months before this tragic night, Toriola sat on the woody bench outside her house, staring at the scholarship letter in her hands. Her mother, Mrs. Adeyeye, stood beside her, wiping her hands on her old wrapper. "My daughter, do you know what this means?" Mrs. Adeyeye asked, her voice thick with emotions. Toriola nodded, her heart swelling with pride. "It means I can go to Prestige International School." Mrs. Adeyeye cupped her daughter's face, her eyes filled with love and concern. "Yes, my daughter, God has smiled on us. But listen to me, Tori. This school is not like your old school. The children there are from rich homes. They lived a life different from ours. You must not forget where you come from. Face your studies and don't follow bad companies." Toriola nodded quickly. "I won't, Mama. I promise. I will not disappoint you." But promises were easy to make. The day she arrived at Prestige International School, she was overwhelmed. The school was nothing like a small community school she has attended before. The buildings were tall, the classes had air conditioners, and the students wore polished shoes that clicked against the tiled floors. She kept her head down, attending her lectures diligently, just as her mother had advised. But no matter how much she tried to focus, she couldn't help but admire the three most beautiful girls in school: Mona Lisa, Lovett, and Juliet. They were not just beautiful, they were glamorous. Their hair were always neatly braided, their nails painted in bright colors, and their school uniforms fit them perfectly, as if they were models. When they walked, students turned to look. When they laughed, their voice rang like music. Toriola wished, just for a second, that she could be just like them. One afternoon, Mona Lisa, Lovett, and Juliet went to the school hairstylist to make their hair. As usual, they tipped the hairdresser to attend to them first, and after making their hair, they strolled to the restaurant to buy snacks and smoothies. On their way back, they bumped into Toriola. The cold, thick smoothie spilled all over her uniform. "Look at the mess you've created," Mona Lisa shouted. "Oh my God, this is so disgusting." Lovett wrinkled her nose. Toriola stepped back, her hands trembling. "I'm so sorry. This was a mistake." "Of course it was a mistake," Juliet says, rolling her eyes. "A poor girl like you can't even afford a smoothie." Toriola swallowed ashamed and walked away. But the next day, something unexpected happened. Juliet walked up to Toriola in her class and leaned down close. "Hey, new girl, want to have a little fun?" Toriola's heart skipped a bit. "Me?" she asked, pointing at herself. "Yes, you," Juliet says, smiling. "Come with us. Let's show you how to really enjoy life." Excitement bubbled in Toriola's chest. She had always admired these girls from afar, and now they were inviting her into their world. She had forgotten her mother's warning. She had forgotten Busayo, her only real friend. She only thought of one thing: she could finally be one of them. She had no idea that she was about to walk into a storm. The transformation happened quickly. In just a few weeks, Toriola became a different person. Mona Lisa, Lovett, and Juliet taught her how to dress her uniform stylishly. They shaped her eyebrow, painted her nails, and showed her how to apply makeup. They taught her how to walk with confidence, how to flip her hair like a queen, and how to ignore the stares of other students. Toriola felt powerful, beautiful, and special. The first time she followed them to a party, she was both terrified and excited. That night, they climbed over the school fence, their skirts lifted up to make it easier. When they landed on the other side, three expensive cars were waiting for them. The rich young men behind the wheels smiled as the young girls ran into their arms. Toriola hesitated for a moment, but Juliet grabbed her hand and pulled her along. "Relax," Juliet whispered. "This is just the beginning. You will enjoy it." At the party, everything sparkled: the chandeliers, the golden rimmed glasses, the expensive dresses. Loud music filled the air, and laughter echoed through the grand mansion. Toriola sat nervously on a chair, watching the others dance. Then a young man walked up to her. He was tall, with smooth skin and a confident smile. "Hi, beautiful," he said. "I'm Femi." Toriola's heart pounded. "You look beautiful. What's your name?" Femi asked. "Toriola," she replied. They talked all night. That night, Femi gave her an iPhone as a gift. At first, everything seems perfect. Toriola spent her days texting Femi, sneaking out to parties, and enjoying expensive gifts. But when Femi asked for something in return, she hesitated. I can't do this," she stammered. Femi's face darkened. "What do you mean you can't? Then give me back my iPhone I bought for you." Toriola panicked. The phone was her connection to this new life. If she lost it, she would be nothing again. Juliet sighed when Toriola told her. "You are being childish," she said. "Don't you know how the world works?" "What if I got pregnant?" Toriola asked. Mona Lisa rolled her eyes. "If you get pregnant, there are pills to flush it out. It is not a big deal." Toriola confused, but in the end, she gave in. She thought Femi loved her, and he promised to marry her when she's done with her studies, so she was saved. Toriola's world has changed completely. She no longer sat in the front row of the classroom, eager to learn. She no longer did her assignments on time. Instead, she spent most of her time with Mona Lisa, Lovett, and Juliet, sneaking out to parties every Friday night, returning just before dawn. Her grades began to drop. Busayo, her old friend, tried to talk to her. "Tori, what's happening to you? You don't read anymore. You don't even stay in the hostel. Are you okay?" Toriola waved her off. "I am fine, Busayo. Don't worry about me." But deep inside, she knew something was wrong. She had started taking the pills Mona Lisa and Juliet told her about. Every time she missed her period, she would swallow them, hoping they would flush away any mistake. At first, she felt relieved, believing she was in control, but she wasn't. The last time Toriola took the pills, something was different. The cramps were worse, the pain lasted longer, and after a few days, she still felt off. Something was wrong. She went to Juliet in a panic. "It is not going away," she said. Juliet sighed, rubbing her temples. "You worry too much, Toriola." "No, Juliet, I mean it. I'm still pregnant." Juliet's eyes widened. "What? That's not possible. Do you take enough pills?" Toriola nodded. "I took more this time, but nothing happened." Nothing changed. Lovett, who has been painting her nails, snorted. "You need a proper abortion. Pills don't always work, you know." Toriola felt the world still beneath her feet. A real abortion? She had never thought about it. She tried calling Femi, but his number was no longer reachable. She sent him messages. He never replied. So one night, she climbed the school fence and went to the mansion. They had their first party, but when she knocked on the door, a beautiful, elegant woman answered. "I'm looking for Femi, the owner of the house," Toriola asked. "Femi?" The woman laughed coldly. "Oh, you mean the driver? He's gone. My husband chased him out of our house." "But he said this was his house," Toriola whispered. The woman laughed again. "He lies to you. He is my husband's driver. We traveled for some time, but he ended up lying and bringing girls into my house." "But I'm pregnant for him," Tori says, crying. The woman laughed and said, "You are the third girl today claiming to be pregnant for him." Toriola was shocked and forced to the ground. Toriola's heart shattered. She was nothing to him, and she wasn't the only one pregnant for him. He impregnated 3 other girls too. She wanted to disappear, but she couldn't. She had to face this. Toriola returned to the school in a daze. She had one goal: get rid of the pregnancy before anyone found out. She couldn't go home. Her mother would die of shame. She couldn't start the school. They would expel her immediately. She has no choice but to kneel down before Juliet that night, tears in her eyes. "Please help me." Juliet signed. "Fine, but this is the last time. You are too troublesome." Juliet made some calls and arranged for Toriola to see a doctor. Not a real doctor, a quack doctor. When they get there, the room smelled of antiseptic and something rotten. The man barely looked at her before telling her to lie down on a faded bed. Toriola was shaking as she lies down on the bed. "Will it hurt?" "Just a little," he said, not looking up. She bit her lips as he had begun. The pain was worse than she had imagined. By the time it was over, she could barely stand. Juliet helped her out of the room, rolling her eyes. "You'll be fine, just rested a little." But she wasn't fine. Her stomach hurt more and more. She felt dizzy, weak, but she forced herself to follow the girls as they climbed the school fence that night. Her legs wobbled as she reached the top. Then everything went black and she fell down. The next morning, Prestige International School was in chaos. The security guards had found Toriola bleeding behind the school fence. She was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. By the time her mother arrived, Toriola was gone. Miss Adeyeye falls to the ground, screaming and crying in pain. Busayo cried bitterly. She didn't listen, She kept repeating to herself. Mona Lisa, Lovett and Juliet never spoke about her again. Femi was never found, and Toriola's dream ended in blood and regrets. Moral lessons from this story. Your choices shaped your future. No amount of wealth or beauty is worth losing your future over. Choose wisely. Mother's advice is there to guide you. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment for more stories like this. Thank you.